Joining us now is Republican Congressman Kinzinger, who served in the Air Force in both Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, this is extraordinary. We've lost more service members. We don't know how many. This is from the terror group that supposedly was defeated so we could withdraw our troops. Lindsey Graham, I think, agrees with you that that was a precipitous announcement from the president. Let me just play what Senator Graham had to say today and then get your reaction.
My concern about the statements made by President Trump is that you set in motion enthusiasm by the enemy we're fighting. You make people who are trying to help wonder about us. So I would hope the president would look long and hard of where he's headed in Syria.
What would you say to the president about this withdrawal and the timetable right now?
Well, I think it's clear that ISIS exists and that they're going to continue to exist for a while. Liberating caliphate is important, and we've done that in a big way. But the group doesn't go away because you've taken away their territory. It's a mindset. It's a mindset that has to be defeated both militarily by liberating caliphate and finding people that exist and killing them or capturing them. But it also has to be won in the mosques of the Muslim faith, where they have to have that next generation come along and reject this kind of ideology. It's similar to the Cold War. You know, it took decades to win the Cold War. There was a military component, but there was a component where the people behind the Iron Curtain rejected the philosophy of communism, and that's what ultimately overthrew it. This is a fight we cannot retreat from because choosing to fight terrorists is not our choice. The only thing we have to choose is where we fight them at.
Well, I just want to also bring to your notice what the Vice President said today at a Global Chiefs of Mission conference on Syria. Let's watch.
Thanks to the leadership of this Commander-in-Chief and the courage and sacrifice of our armed forces, we're now actually able to begin to hand off the fight against ISIS in Syria to our coalition partners, and we are bringing our troops home. The caliphate has crumbled, and ISIS has been defeated.
As you pointed out, the caliphate has crumbled, but that doesn't mean that the risk to American security at home and abroad is over. And I just returned from Riyadh, where we were talking to the Secretary of State, and he's been saying all over the Middle East that we're going to eliminate Iranian boots on the ground in Syria, even after we withdraw our troops. How do we get rid of the Iranians and the Russians for taking over Syria if we're pulling our troops out? What's left? We have no diplomats there. We have no intelligence there. Once we take out our troops, we've got nothing, and the Syrian Kurds will be slaughtered.
That's right. You know, having troops in Syria gives us a seat at the table for negotiations, which will include, when negotiations are ultimately done in Syria, every war ends that way, no Iran. If you take the troops out, you don't have a seat at that table. You know, look, the fact is the ISIS is crumbling, the caliphate is crumbling. But if you look at what we actually have postured in Syria, this is exactly how we should be fighting wars. It's not 150,000 troops occupying Syria. It's special operators, among others, that are working with indigenous forces, with coalition partners, to do the bulk of the fighting. We can do airstrikes. Most of the fighting on the ground is with our coalition partners. So to walk away from that, this very successful model, I think, would be a massive mistake, especially in light of today's news.
Congressman Kinzinger, thank you very much. Thank you for everything. Appreciate it.